Now we will move into.
Oh, here we go.
We only had what? We had one
Fourth
question
down
last
and
week with
20.
Danny.
Fourth and 21,
about
not the way you want
Thanksgiving.
to try to
I'm
extend it.
sure we will have more today, especially when it comes to college football.
News.
There's been a lot of college football news, but what do you got for this week?
There was news in college football?
Yeah, just a little bit.
So I actually want to start with that. Lane Kiffin, all the drama leading up to this decision. I mean, oh my gosh, it was like LeBron deciding whether or not he's going to retire, right? It was crazy. Did you hear him say that he told his agent, don't even tell me about the money. I just want to make this decision, not based on money. Do you buy that? Do you think that went into this? I know, Dawson, you and I, we talked a lot about this. Are you punting on that? Is he full of crap, or are you going for it? Do you believe that statement?
With how active he is on social media, it's like one of the first things he saw. So that's complete bullshit.
There's no way.
No.
And look at anything that anyone does in this world. The top 3 thing of what it comes down to if you decide to do something.
What is it? Money,
is money.
Money, sex, and power.
Well,
those are the 3 things
Depending
that everybody's
on your morals,
after.
yeah.
So to me, I think, especially with Lane Kiffin and the reputation he has, I think that's a bunch of bull. And, even I've seen some of the players reposting or commenting on his little, article that he wrote up of him saying, I wanted to coach the team, but they wouldn't let me and all this stuff. There are some players now commenting on that going, really? Because I think the people within the meeting can vouch otherwise and, stuff like that. So, but look, this is college football. And if there's one person, if there's one organization that I'm going to blame for all of this, I've said it to you, I've said it to a lot of people, the NCAA. The schedule of the NCAA and how they have let all of this happen when it comes to money and transferring,
the portal opening up right now,
and signing days today, and all this crap. It's ridiculous, and it is literally, we've said it a lot, the wild, wild west, and it is creating a lot of entitlement. It's creating a lot of just things that shouldn't be happening the way they are. When you look at the NFL, there's the season, there's the off season, there's the OTAs, there's the preseason, and it just repeats. There's literally no structure to college football.
Nope.
When it comes to a timeline.
It's similar to the issue that NFL fans have with NFL teams, allowing people to interview in the playoffs. Like, that's also something that should not be allowed. And it doesn't have to be like this. I think that's the worst part. But
imagine March Madness Selection Sunday, and then the next day the portal opens up in basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, how crazy
it
would
that
be?
Ruin.
Well, okay,
people,
you can't coach. You can't go coaches in the first round.
People would be so mad.
Oh,
and there'd be. I mean, every year it has gone up of the amount of transfers that go into the portal in basketball. We've talked about that. A
but it
lot.
happens after though.
But it happens but yes, it's just. Like we kind of mentioned with Jackson Dart and some of these other people, it has created just a lot of entitlement, a lot of gray areas where people don't want to talk about it. But to go on to what Lane Kiffin did, I do not blame him.
No,
I seriously don't blame him one single bit.
At all.
Do I think that they should have let him coach the team still? 100%. Because if it wasn't,
they chose their pride over actually competing in the playoffs.
Yeah, but do you think
it was more important for Ole Miss to make a statement and make sure that they stood firm on this? No, we're not going to let him, dictate how we handle this situation. Well, congrats. You guys are now probably a first round out.
Well, and using the excuse of, we don't want him around our players because he'll just try to recruit him to go to LSU. That's happening anyway.
I was going to say, if you're worried about players leaving, then they weren't here for the program in the first place, sweetheart. They really weren't. They were here for the coach, and they're going to follow the coach. Because that's the guy that's prepping them for the NFL.
Same thing with all the other coaches. That's the one reason that I've seen of Ole Miss, saying that he wasn't allowed to, as well. He's going to take all of our players and he's going to try to recruit them to LSU. Brother, it's happening already.
Yep.
So does the committee give them the FSU?
Half your team is gone.
So Dylan, does the committee give them the FSU treatment? Do they leave him out? Do they leave him out because basically their team has been decimated?
No, because they didn't lose a big game at the end of the year. I know FSU didn't either, but there's not any big implications that can move them down. What are they like? What's their ranking right now? I'll look it up.
Well, regardless of that, though, I have a bunch of
questions.
We can save that for later. It doesn't really matter because I guess maybe. So
Ole Miss is 6. I mean, they would have to drop 5 spots to get, and they haven't done anything to deserve dropping 5 spots.
And they won't because they don't play this weekend. So
they don't play this weekend. They don't have anything that can negatively affect them. And there's already conference championships being decided. So what you see is more or less what you're going to get, unless maybe if BYU loses to Texas Tech, they'll probably fall out, and
or like
they'll
if
add a Texas or a Miami in.
Yeah.
So.
Look, I think, what it comes down to, it's a great question because I think it's you can compare the two.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Florida State lost their quarterback, and they obviously took that into you lose your head coach after winning.
Your play caller, too.
Your 10 game. Now, I know they hired their offensive coordinator as the...
Or defensive coordinator.
No, offensive coordinator.
Oh, okay.
They were talking about it yesterday. So that helps that, at least in the committee's eyes is, hey, they still are going to be having someone call the plays that is reliable and probably knows what he's doing. So you think. But look, I don't blame Lane Kiffin a second what he did. I think when he said that the LSU job is one of the most desirable jobs in college football, it 100% is.
He's going to walk into a top 5 roster.
And here's my other thing.
Once he's done recruiting.
Everyone complaining about it and everyone saying, you left the legacy, you built it old. Hey, Dylan, here's $100 million to go coach,
to go forget about your reputation.
No, I'm not going to take it.
He said he didn't take the money into consideration.
Yeah, bullshit. And anyone out there who's saying any other, you wouldn't do the same thing, go fucking kick rocks.
So my next question actually plays right to this. So Dawson, this one actually specifically is for you. So we're going to magically teleport back to high school, okay? You're in your recruiting phase when you were getting ready to go to college, and you're being recruited to play football for Ole Miss or LSU. Where are you going and why?
To break it down, it would come down to, for one, where am I from? If I'm from Oxford and I've always wanted to be an Ole Miss Rebel, like that would play into account. But if it's strictly like, I love the coach, I love that you're winning games, you've had 3 seasons now in a row of 10 plus wins. You play in the SEC, both teams are in the SEC, so you're playing the same competition. When it comes to, if I wanted to go to the NFL.
What about where the schools are at?
Where the schools are at too, yes, but so again, if I was played in Georgia and I play, because that's obviously where we're from, and I was being recruited to either Ole Miss or LSU and all this stuff was happening, I'm sorry, everyone is going to LSU.
Especially now.
Okay.
And
some guy just uncommitted to LSU.
I did see that. He decommitted from LSU and now he's going to Ole Miss. And I just want to be like, what? Wow, okay.
Maybe he didn't like Lane Kiffin to begin with. But I do think, I think LSU has kind of been held back a little bit in the last few years. I don't think players wanted to play for Brian Kelly because that guy, just full transparency, that guy is a piece of work. Yeah. Like he is just a tool. And I think he was a tool at Notre Dame. He's just an asshole. Especially with all the stuff that happened with the athletic director. It's a joke. And I think we're about to see just how many people and how highly touted LSU is going to be. I think they're moving forward. Very scary team. I think let's see if I don't think Nussmeier's staying, but that team as a whole, I think Lane Kiffin, if he could do that at Ole Miss, they were not much before he went there. Like he chose to go to that program, and quite honestly, y'all should be thanking him for relevancy because it would not have happened without him. So yeah, LSU going to be like a top 3 SEC team next year, and it'll be fun to watch. I think if they can figure out the transfer portal and just a better schedule for NCAA, I'll get more invested in college football, but right now it's kind of hard to take it seriously.
It's hard for me to care. It really is. I like watching the games, especially rivalry weekend, and obviously the championships and the playoffs are all great. This will be
a fun weekend. Last weekend was fun too.
It's hard to truly care because it can literally switch like that.
Well,
to me, I don't like that.
Well, think about your allegiance too. Doss, you went to the same college for 4 years, right? You played.
Well, that's
your team.
Anymore.
That's your team. And like Dylan, you stayed at KSU. You went there. Like if you imagine going to 3 different schools, like who are you going to root for? And so I think it really does mess up the whole sport. Yeah. And so speaking of that, I want to talk about that. So the Grizzlies, the Montana Grizzlies, we play this weekend at home. Round 2, we're playing South Dakota State University. I actually think that's a bad draw. They got the quarterback back. They lost a bunch of games without him. They're actually a really good team. But the funny thing is here in Georgia, Mercer plays South Dakota. So, South Dakota is going to be loving coming down to this warm weather.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Mercer wins because then Mercer is going to have to go to Montana. And that makes me laugh. They're going to freeze their friggin' balls off when they go up there. And
it's going to be like -10.
Because I think the weather, so do you think the weather's going to matter that much to Mercer if they have to go up to Montana?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Especially more so
like the Dolphins going to Foxborough in December.
Yeah, well, let me tell you a funny story. So November 1989, freshman year of college, we got to play in the playoffs Jackson State. Jackson State came up to Montana. Pre-game, it started to snow. We're in the student section screaming, yelling. It started to snow. These Southern kids, like all of them, they were all like, yeah, bring on the snow. This is great. Mm-hmm. And literally, we won 48-7. Okay, we won 48-7. I'm pretty sure it was 35-0 after the first quarter. We annihilated them. Then we beat Eastern Illinois. That was when we tore down the goalpost. And then we got our asses kicked by Georgia Southern. So we were out. Anyway, okay, let's move on. So I want to talk about the SEC championship game, Georgia, Alabama. So do you think if they ever expand this playoff and if they ever go to, say, 24 teams, is it going to be anybody other than Georgia, Alabama, Florida, LSU, Ohio State? I mean, who else do you guys put in that group of the elite teams?
I'll change this. So it'll always be the top teams, but we talked about this in the group chat. College football needs either relegation or they need smaller conferences. I think, and Brandon Walker of Barstool Sports brought this up, and I think it was genius. I think there's no reason that you need 18 teams in a conference because you're getting, like, for instance, A&M this year played like the bottom 8 SEC teams as their schedule, and they're ranked what? I mean, they're all the way at the top. I think they fell to 7 with the loss. They've been a top 3
team
all year,
pretty much all year.
They played Texas. Didn't look that great. And so smaller divisions or move some teams to the ACC to make the ACC more competitive so that these conference championships should matter way more.
And they don't.
But I don't think anyone gives a shit between who's going to win between Virginia and Duke because they know both of them are going to get absolutely waxed the first round.
Well, people are saying if Duke wins, that ACC is not going to get anyone in.
But wait a minute though. But what about the Georgia Alabama? Like, do either of those teams? Does the loser get in? Because they should both be in.
So this is my argument. I think some people out there that I'm seeing are saying that if Alabama loses, they're not getting in, and I think that's
a travesty.
But now and then the second part of that argument is, well, the committee has come out and said they're not going to punish teams for making, which is the question we raised last week of is the committee going to punish the loser of the conference championship? Yep. And they have come out and said no, which I do think is true. Like, if Alabama does lose, I don't think they're going to be out. I think they'll still be in. But this is my...
But is Texas getting punished for losing?
This is my thing.
We
talked about this a lot.
True.
And I talked to Vandy for probably 30 minutes about this the other day, this past weekend. I think it goes to how poorly this whole system is set up.
Yeah.
So I take Texas, for example. Texas opens up the year, Ohio State loses. They did not have to schedule that game. They decided to schedule that game. If they don't play that game and they play some shitty team that they get an easy win for, it doesn't matter. It's still a win in the win column for them. They'd be 10-2.
They'd be 10-2.
They're in the playoffs right now.
They'd be 10-2 and a shoe-in for the playoffs. 100%, especially after the win they had last week against A&M.
True.
100%. So my question is, what was the point of them playing Ohio State?
Other than good TV.
Other than they got a shit ton of money, it was the first game of the year, and everyone was talking about them. What was the point of it in the grand scheme of things when this is the ultimate goal now to get into the playoffs? The second part to that is, say they're 10-2 and they beat the teams they've played. Oklahoma is still ahead of Texas.
Yeah.
Texas beat Oklahoma, and they also finished with the same record in the SEC ahead of Oklahoma. So tell me how, and I'm not a Texas fan. I could give two shits about any of the. Dylan could back me up. Everyone. I just watch the games. I'm not a fan of anyone. Even Georgia. I know we're from Georgia. I don't care. Although I do love Kirby Smart. He has tried to convince me to be a Georgia fan.
Kirby Smart is the gift that keeps on giving.
But no, my argument is when you have 3 teams, because everyone's talking about Vandy, Oklahoma and Texas of who's going to get in the last spot. Well, it was Oklahoma. Am I correct on that?
Mm-hmm.
And Vandy,
Oklahoma's all the way up at 8.
But Vandy and Texas are not in it, correct?
Yep.
I don't know how you can have 3 teams, because all common opponents, all common conference, so that isn't the outlier of, well, we don't know how they would play because they didn't play the same competition. They played the same competition.
Yep.
In my opinion, I think it's absolutely insane that you have 3 teams in the same conference. Texas finished above Vandy and Oklahoma because they beat them both. So you finished with the same record within your conference, and we have to hold their win against Texas A&M because they were a top ranked. So you can't look at it and go, now, well, look who they played. It doesn't count. You can't do that now because the whole rest of the year it was, they're a top 3 team. They're this, they're this, they're this. If that's what the argument was, it should have been that the whole year, and it wasn't. Texas goes in and beats them. And I think it's really, really hard and stupid to put a team who is higher in their conference, beat both of them, but Oklahoma's in over. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I think it's because Oklahoma didn't lose to a team like Florida, quite honestly. I think that loss was not close. I think it finished 29-21, but that Florida loss was horrible.
And I hear you. Bad. I really do. But again, I'll ask you the question. If they don't play Ohio State and they don't lose that game, they're 10-2.
That's true.
And they still have a better record in the SEC. They beat Oklahoma and they beat Vanderbilt, the 2 teams that everyone was saying, hey, these are the last, couple teams who are fighting for that last spot.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. So I see 2 negatives in what happened. I see negatives as in big SEC teams are not going to go schedule against the big other schools in other conferences, whether that's Ohio State, Oregon, all those big
Notre Dame,
Penn State,
like
Notre Dame,
none of the big marquee,
all of those big marquee teams in other conferences.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to happen if Texas doesn't get in. They're not going to get in, but you're not going to see that Ohio State versus Georgia or that Ohio State versus Texas A&M or Penn State versus
for the playoffs.
They're going to wait for the playoffs because it doesn't do anything but hurt them in the grand scheme of things.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what sucks about it because I'm not a Texas fan, but I think Texas deserves to be in. They finished with a better record in the SEC over the 2 teams they were competing against, and they beat them both.
Yeah, that's true.
Make it make sense.
I know why they're holding him out. I mean, obviously, Florida lost. You go to overtime against Kentucky, and you only put up 13 points in regulation.
I hear you.
You lose to Georgia 35-10.
But it isn't a win a win.
I hear you.
I mean,
it is in the NFL.
In the college landscape, a win is not just a win.
So then where do you hold the value of beating Texas A&M if they're such a high-ranked team?
Because like what we brought up earlier with Texas A&M, we don't know if they're a good team. Like, seriously, they played the bottom 8 teams in the SEC. They could realistically be a worse team than Texas.
And I agree with you, but where was that argument the whole year? It just got brought up after they lost to Texas.
It's like, recency bias, but it's like we didn't know that at the start of the year or even halfway through the year that the teams they played were going to end up being literally in order. Bottom 8 teams in the SEC. And it just shaped out that way.
Look at Vanderbilt. I mean, tell me Vanderbilt's not a good team.
Vanderbilt's
did you hear the flip?
Team that I think
Georgia just lost the number 1 quarterback recruit that flipped and now is going to Vanderbilt. Wait a minute. I thought Vanderbilt. They're a hell of a football team now.
They should be in the playoffs. They just signed their coach to like a 6-year deal. It just goes again to show how
college football
just how it's just there's no way to keep up with it all. There's no way to know. There even with the NFL playoffs, everyone kind of knows of hey, we've got to go blank the last couple games to get in or to have a chance. And this person needs
we just have to hope that we win all of our games, and then a group of old people decides that it was enough to get in this year.
It's just,
oh man, I sure hope that our loss to a team that has nothing to do with our record or conference doesn't hurt us. College football is a joke.
It's
quite
really
honestly.
unfortunate.
It's why I will
did it
never
divisions
be
like
a
the NFL.
true fan of college football.
If you divide it up like the NFL, you could actually almost make it it would be interesting.
Well,
anyway,
there's structure to the NFL, and with college football, there is from recruiting a kid to transferring to the playoffs to you schedule your own schedule of games. Yep. There's no.
Here, you want
structure.
Me to fix college football real quick? Here's fixing college football. Relegation. If you have not sniffed the playoffs or been a ranked team in the last 5 years, see ya in D2. Come back when you're a real football team. Contracts for players, just like you have them for coaches, and transfer portal changing, the schedule changing. And there you go. College football is now what you want it to be, minor league pro football. Because that's what it's turning into anyway.
And I don't want to hear the whole of all the old, well, they're kids and they're fighting for scholarships and they're going.
That scholarship's not worth anything compared to NIL.
Even on signing day, there are coaches going in, like that Vandy guy, for example, who just flipped from Georgia to Vandy. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you, Vandy came in and said, "Hey, what's Georgia offering you? How about this? We'll give you an extra $300K and here's $100,000 travel voucher for your parents.
And I'll guarantee that you start next year."
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Georgia. So Vandy just offered me an extra $300K and a $100,000 travel voucher for my parents to go to every game.
By the way, I'm 17 years old.
Is there anything you can do? Nope. Oh, well, we'll give you an extra $100K on top, and you will match the travel voucher for your parents. We'll do that, and
you'll have the benefit of going to Georgia.
Hey, Vandy, guess what? Guess what Georgia just did? They now are offering me $1 million. Can you guys do any better? And it's stupid. Yep. It's stupid.
College
and to your point, this
sucks.
is why I will never truly be a fan of college football.
It's anyone who purely enjoys this and like tries to get fully invested, you're kidding yourself. Like, I think this is just not as good of a product as the NFL brings. And I think it's not because they don't have the facilities to make it a great product. They just refuse to. And it's all about money. It's all about ratings. And that will never change, which means college football probably won't ever change. And I'm out on it. I will watch the playoffs because they're very competitive. Yeah. The best games are fun, but I could give a shit how it ends up. Like, seriously, because I know in the back of my mind that all of this was just, I don't know, someone painted the picture for you. Like, this isn't, it's
at the end of the day, though, it's still going to come down to these 4 teams.
It always
every year it will do that. Every year.
Yeah, it's just funny. It's just funny. Okay, guys, we gotta move on. Let's talk about golf. Tiger Woods, he's in the news. He got done with his back surgery. He's feeling good. They're talking about him playing PGA Tour events. So I want to know, are you guys punting or going for it on seeing Tiger out on the course again?
Tiger.
Should he just go to the senior tour and win everything? Or should he go out there and try to beat Sam Snead in his 82 win?
This is what I think he should do. He should go coach his kid and enjoy his kid and his kid's journey with golf. Because he is lucky enough that his child has chosen to kind of go down the same path he did. Mm-hmm. When, let's be honest, that's a huge, maybe, shoes that he will not fill. And he will not be able to compare to in his life.
Ask the James kids how hard that is.
It could have been really easy for him to just be like, I want no part of that. And he is lucky enough that his child, Charlie, is pretty good. And I think you'd have the best coach, I think, ever when it comes to a golfer. That's what I think you should do.
Why don't you just caddy for your kid?
Like, teach
caddy
your kid.
For your kid, coach your kid. Don't become Aaron Rodgers.
No.
Please. It's sad to watch.
I mean, you're going to go out to a tournament, play one day, and then you're going to have to withdraw. I mean, that's what it's going to be, and something else is going to happen. So if I was in his corner, be like, you got all the money in the world. You're one of the best golfers to ever do it, if not the best. Hang it up and go enjoy your
kids. Help your kid win some majors.
Go enjoy your kid's journey.
Go play the TGL every once in a while.
Yeah, show up at the TGL.
He'll show up
at the Masters. You kind of like what some of these other big like Michael Jordan. We never see that guy anywhere, and then when we do, it's like, hey, Michael Jordan, he's here at this event or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's what I think you should do, and enjoy your kid because he has chosen to kind of try to follow your footprints when he's never going to be able to fulfill that.
Nope.
And the pressure that that's what I would do.
Okay. So it's December and Christmas movies. I want to talk about Christmas movies. First of all, there's only one big one coming out. It's Avatar, right? Comes out, I think on my birthday. You guys were 8 years old when Avatar first came out. Can you believe that? You were 8 years old and now they've had a couple more. They're saying that like after this one, 2029 will be the next, and then like 2031 will be the final one because James Cameron has it all figured out. All these 5 movies. So, are you excited about going to watch Avatar?
I think I'm excited about it.
I personally think this is going to be the best one. I think this is probably like an all-out war movie, or at least setting up for an all-out war movie. And
middle of the series.
It is true, technically the middle of the series. So it could very well be like a very big turning point, kind of like Empire Strikes Back. I mean, that is technically the middle movie. So I'm expecting a scenario where, it's like the bad guys win at the end. And I always love those kinds of movies, quite honestly.
Yeah. No,
leaves you.
I think
guessing.
it's a great series. I think it's it's a little nostalgia for us, like you said. The first one came out. I mean, I remember when the first one came out, it was the biggest deal that it was on Blu-ray.
Oh yeah,
like it was a Blu-ray disc, and now
Ooh, look at the visual effects.
What I am excited for this one though is one of my favorite parts in the first Avatar was the dragons, or what I don't know exactly what they're called. But you know what I'm talking when they trained they were on the flying things. They didn't have those in the second one because it was kind of like water, and it made sense. But I've seen in some of the clips and some of the trailers that the dragons and they're coming back. So nice. I do like that because that was one of my favorite parts of the first one. I think it's going to be good. I'm going to enjoy it. It will get shit on, and it will, like with everything, no one can enjoy anything now.
Nope.
But I'll sit back, get some popcorn, and enjoy a probably really, really well put together movie.
And a 3-hour one.
Okay, so last thing then, still staying on.
Hey, this year though, let's try not to accidentally buy 3D, because we had to sit there and wear the stupid 3D.
For the second Avatar.
Yes.
Oh, and I hate that. Yeah,
we accidentally bought.
Oh yeah,
3, and we walked in and we were like, no,
shit,
no.
I have this.
So let's not do
problem
that.
ordering tickets sometimes for movies, and it happens.
Sometimes you.
Okay, so let's finish up with this. So your top 5 Christmas movies of all time. Who wants to go first? Who wants to go first? Your top 5 Christmas movies. Dylan, give us your top 5.
Elf is top. It will always be the top. The Grinch. Definitely How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Definitely some of the Chevy Chase Christmas Vacation movies. Love those. And then, probably the Polar Express.
Polar Express.
Yeah.
Okay.
What does the Polar Express remind you of? What is the first memory that pops in your head when you think of the Polar Express?
Hot chocolate.
Yeah, but like setting memory.
Setting.
I'm just curious if yours is the same. And maybe after I say it, you'll be like, oh yeah, that was.
I just remember
sitting in a classroom in school, like the day before you leave for Christmas vacation.
Oh yeah,
watching Polar Express.
That's what I think. Yeah, that was mostly the movie for me. That was one of the first movies I remember watching. So it goes way far back. I was a big fan of trains when I was like 4 or 5 years old. So I had some Polar Express toys.
That's fair. I got you.
Polar Express is up there as well.
Okay, Dawson, what are your top 5 Christmas movies?
Grinch is number 1 for me. National Lampoon's Vacation, number 2. Elf, number 3. I'd probably go Christmas Story, number 4, because that's been a classic in our family. And number 5. Oh man, I'll probably go Home Alone, the first one.
Oh yeah, that rounds out mine too. I forgot about Home Alone.
The scene of like him setting up all the booby traps, and that's just such a classic. And it's something that would never happen in today's world. Nope. So
couldn't even make the movie anymore.
That'd be my top.
Everyone's got a fucking ring cam.
Okay, guys, that's it for Fourth and Long.
All right,
that's what we got.
Beautiful.